डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Hello dear learners, today I, Dr. Darshana Dalwadi, is welcoming you all to the lecture series of Principles of Cyber Security from the Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. In this lecture, learners, we are going to see about advanced persistent threats and cyber kill chain. We have already discussed this, where we have seen the problems, which are the problems we have in our organization. When we are talking about these advanced persistent threats, these are threats only which are trying to steal the information from the organization, but they are using some advanced techniques, advanced tools are there which they are using, because of which the name given to it is advanced persistent threat. We have discussed these two things, and some part of APT is remaining that we are going to see today. Now in today's lecture, what we will see, the remaining portion of APT. In previous lecture we have seen about the vectors, the tools, the techniques which we can use, and after completing that we will have the next topic, that is cyber kill chain. Now this is what we discussed in last lecture, that is called as the attack vector life vector cycle. This is what we are having in our APT. When APT is there in our organization, at that time we will have something like this, that is called as the attack vector cycle, in which you can see that attack vectors are taking part in making a successful APT attack. Here you can see, first we are having number of sources, internet, then email, then devices. Internet, how is helping in APT? We can say that when we are having internet, at that time we are having the usage of social media, P2P, then drive-by download, means if we are downloading something, then also we may have this APT. Another thing we have, that is email. Email means in that we can have phishing, like some attractive links are given on which we are clicking, and as we are clicking we are having the APT in our organization. Then devices. Devices in sense, we are using hardware devices, external hardware devices like USB flash drive, or we are using phones, or we are using tablets to transfer the data from one to another machine. So at that time also we may have this APT. So these are the sources from which we can get APT in our system. Now from here it enters in our organization. Then the first step begins, that is what? It lures the end users to download, exploit or corrupt file. From any of these three sources, user will have something which they are trying to access, means they are clicking it, they are downloading the file, or they are just opening the file. As they are doing that, the APT enters in your system. Then after second step we have, that is exploit executed. Whatever exploit you are having with any one of these three sources, it gets executed. Third step we have, that is inject additional code, Trojan or backdoors. Whatever additional code is added with it, that is injected in your system. Then establish command and control channel. Fifth one we have, that is explore and move literally within the organization. When it is injected in your organization, at that time, after getting the command and control channel, it starts exploring itself and it moves as simple data in your organization. Then steal and transmit target data out of the organization. Whatever data it is targeting, it is stealing it and moving out to the organization. and malware becomes APT, that is the final stage mutation, where the malware which you are having is becoming APT. So this is what we have already discussed, but here just we have briefly taken the view that what we have in attack vector cycle. After that, to prevent it, we can have number of strategies which can be there in organization. We can say number of steps are there which we should follow. So in that, first one we have, that is defending against APT. Now when we are having any type of APT, at that time it is better to have prevention, but before preventing it, we need to detect it first. Means to which thing we have to provide the protection, that we need to detect. So detection is first thing, and after that we can prevent it. Mostly what the organizations are doing, they are building and investing the preventive measures. They are taking preventive measures, but before preventive measures we need to identify what exactly the threat is, that is called as the detection. So when organizations are trying to protect their system, at that time they are focusing more on preventive measures instead of this detection. So that is necessary to have this detection. There are few things which an organization must do to prevent against such type of APTs. Then after, second step we have, that is raise awareness and control users. Now when we are having any organization, at that time number of users will be there. So before we have APT in our organization, we have to educate our users. Our users here we are considering as the users of the organization who are using their data. So humans who are going to work with the organization, they are the end users and are targeted mostly. They are the targeted users by the APTs. So we need to make them aware that which type of things they can do or they can avoid. We have to explain them the consequences when they are clicking something unknowingly. So we have to educate them that if you find something which is not relevant to your work of area or which is not relevant to the organization, you should not click or you should not open such type of code. So it is better to conduct the internal phishing test and user awareness by giving basic ideas regarding phishing and how to identify them. Ultimately, when we are explaining them that what is the information which are for our organization, we are generating the awareness and allowing them to explore it. But at the same time, we are telling them that if you find something is not relevant to organization's information, then do not open it. So before allowing them to have the access of the organization's information, the organization can conduct phishing test, which will give the internal test to the organization's users, so that they can have the idea that such type of things can come, we should do or we should not do. So this is what we are having in raise awareness and control users. After that, we have reputation scoring and malicious traffic identification. Traditional security measures work on to block or access network traffic, while in APT most type of APTs are pretended to the legitimate traffics. Now traditional means simple one. Here traditional threats we are considering as the simple threats. So they are mainly working on blocking the access of network traffic, while APTs are working on legitimate traffic, means the internal traffic. Legitimate means authorized. Once they enter into the network, they become bad or evil. So it is better to monitor the network traffic and scoring them based on their behavior in the network. Now when we are having such type of organization in which we are having network at that time it is better to monitor the network traffic, how much traffic we have, and we need to score them based on their behavior. Whatever behavior they have in network, based on that we have to score them. That will help to identify if any malicious packets try to change its behavior from good to bad. Suppose sometimes the malicious packets has entered through the network. We don't know that there is a malicious packet or malicious code in network. So what we have to do? We first have to identify the behavior. We have seen that we have to check the behavior of the packets on network traffic, and we have to provide the scoring to them. Based on that only we can check that whether the behavior is get changed or not. And if we are getting changes in behavior, then we can say that this is the malware we have in our organization. So this is what we need to do. Then after we have monitor outbound traffic. Security measures are generally built around the inbound traffic and monitor it to stop the threats from the spreading. While in APTs, it is also important to monitor outbound traffic, as their motive is to exfiltrate the internal data which will harm the organization. The main motive of these APTs are to exfiltrate the internal data which will create more harm to the organization. So it is important to detect the anomaly in the outbound traffic also. We need to identify the anomaly if it is there. If it is not, then we need to ignore it. But if it is there, but generally what happens when we are having APTs, at that time we will have some anomaly. So we need to detect that anomaly, and then after we can monitor that what type of packets we have which is creating this type of harm in organization. Then next is understand the changing threat landscape. It is difficult when we don't know from what we have to defend to save ourselves. We know that we need protection, but we don't know from whom we need protection. So that is the main thing we find difficulties. When we are having any organization, we know we have to provide the security to the organization, but we don't know that from where the threat will come. So we will not be able to identify the point from where this threat is coming. So that is the main difficulty. So we can say we don't know something which is coming. We can say it is unknown thing or unseen thing. So to protect such unknown or unseen thing is the main difficulty we are facing in our organization. The only way to defend is to understand and learn how the offensive part works and operates. We don't know anything and we have not seen anything from where and what type of attack will come in organization. So main way of defending is what? We need to understand and we need to learn how the offensive part works and operates. If the organization will not learn the new attack techniques and tactics, they will lose the battle and not be able to tune their defensive measures. If the organization is not understanding the new attack techniques and tactics, then they will not be able to provide the proper security, they will not be able to provide proper defensive measures. In short, we can say it is explaining you to be up to the date. Means whatever type of new attacks you have, you must have the knowledge of such attacks and you must have to do analysis of such attacks, that what can be the defensive measures for such attacks. Then after, manage endpoint. The ultimate goal of the attacker is to steal information which is stored on the endpoint. From where the attacker will get the information? From the endpoint only, where the information is stored. To even even if the attacker has access inside the network, they still need to access the endpoint to get the information. They are in your network, but to get the information from the endpoint, they need access. So to limit the damage, controlling the endpoint and locking down the endpoint by disconnecting it from other networks and isolating it will protect the information from getting outside of the organization. We need to provide the locking system to the endpoint, or we can say controlling the endpoint, which will help us to limit the damage which it is creating to our organization. Now, how to provide the controlling to the endpoint? To do so, we can have the idea of disconnecting it from the networks, or we can say isolating it from the network to provide the protection to it, protection to the information stored in it, so that if it is isolated or disconnected, then the information which is stored in it will not go outside. So this is what we are having in managing endpoints. Now up to this we have seen that what APT is doing in our organization. Now to kill it, we are having different stages, that is called as the cyber kill chain. It is very important to learn each kill stage component in detail. When we have APT, at that time how to provide the defensive measures, for that one measure we have, that is cyber kill chain. Now the complete cycle is known as the cyber kill chain. As the name suggests, you can say cyber means it is related to this type of attacks, kill means you are trying to kill it, and chain means number of steps. It can simply be understood as a chain of multiple stages where we are having relation between each other, means the stages are related to each other. The output of one stage will be considered as the input of the next stage. So here we can see, when we are having this cyber kill chain, at that time when it was introduced, when it was first used, it was used in the military, which is related to the structuring of an attack, which was including identification of the target, getting a foothold in the organization, attack timing and decision, then destruction of the target. These four things were there when it was used in military. First, identify what is your target. Second, go there, means you need to have foothold in your organization. Whatever is your target, you first have to go there in any manner, or anyhow you have to reach to their place. Then attack timing and decision. You have to decide when you are going to attack, and after that destruction of the target. After deciding the timing, you are attacking it, means you are destructing the target. Though this process is not universal, but it is accepted by the information security community and converted into the part of the cyber kill chain. To better understand it, which can be useful to break the kill chain in different stages. This process is not universal, but it is accepted by the information security community and it is used as a cyber kill chain with different stages. As per the Wikipedia, traditional military kill chain includes multiple stages which are listed here. You can see it is called as F2T2EA. F2 means 2F. First F is for find, means locate the target. Second F is for fix, fix their location, make it difficult for them to move. Third letter we have, that is T2. First T is for track, means monitor their movement, tracking. Fourth one we have, that is target. Select an appropriate weapon or asset to use on the target to create desired effects. Then after we have engage. Apply the weapon to the target. And fifth one we have, that is assess. evaluate the effects of the attack, including any intelligence gathered at the location. This is what we have in F2T2EA. Now, after that, we can say that when cyber kill chain is there, it reveals different phases of a cyber attack, from the initial stage of reconnaissance to the last stage of data exfiltration. Reconnaissance means to gather information, that is the first stage, initial stage, and last stage means data exfiltration. So, this will reveal the different phases of cyber attack from first to last. This has been also used as a tool for the management to understand the phases of cyber attack to continuously improve their defensive measures. This will help the management to understand the cyber attacks, what are the defensive measures they can take for such attacks. According to Lockheed Martin, these phases threats must pass through the model which we are going to discuss. So, the model is containing this type of phases. You can say phases of the intrusion kill chain. It is also named as a cyber kill chain. First one we have, that is reconnaissance. Second one, weaponization. Third one, delivery. Fourth, exploitation. Fifth, installation. Sixth, command and control. Seventh, actions on objective. Here it is written in brief that what the step will do. First step we have, that is reconnaissance. It means we are gathering information. How we are gathering? By researching it, by doing the identification of the threats and selection of targets. Second thing we have, that is weaponization. Pairing remote access malware with exploit into a deliverable payload, that is Adobe PDF or Microsoft Office files. Third one we have, that is delivery. Transmission of weapon to target. Deliver something from one place to another place via email attachments or websites or USB drives. Then we have exploitation. Once it is delivered, the weapon's code is triggered, exploiting vulnerable applications or systems. Then after we have installation. The weapon installs a backdoor on a target system, allowing persistent access. Then command and control. Outside server communicates with the weapons, providing hands-on keyboard access inside the target's network. And last step we have, that is actions on objective. The attackers works to achieve the objective of the intrusion, which can include exfiltration or destruction of data or intrusion of another target. Now these are the steps we have. Now we will see in detail what the steps actually do. First step we have, that is reconnaissance. It means to gather information regarding the target. It can be an individual or an organization. Target can be an individual entity or it can be a whole organization. It further drills down to the identification and profiling of target. Further, to extract all kinds of information from the internet, such as email address, social media relationship data, blogs, sites, conferences. It will extract information from all such type of sources. Then information gathered from this stage will be later used in the next stage as an input. Reconnaissance is divided into two parts. Two types of reconnaissance we can have. In general, you can understand that reconnaissance means you are gathering the information. So, two type of reconnaissance is given to you. First one, active reconnaissance. This step is to gather information regarding a target without his or her knowledge, such as using open source intelligence tools called as OSINT for information gathering. Here active reconnaissance means what? we are gathering the information about the target, but the target whosoever is there, means if the target is an individual, then he or she, or if the target is an organization, then the organization are not knowing, they are not having any knowledge about this thing, means someone is there who is gathering their information. So if such type of thing we have, then it is called as the active reconnaissance, such as using open source intelligent tools. This can be done by this OSINT for gathering the information. Then after we have passive reconnaissance. It involves deep profiling of the target, which might trigger alert to the target, such as using network scanning tools like Nmap or NSYS. So this is what we are having in first step, reconnaissance. Second step we have, that is weaponization. In this phase, the attacker uses the details which is gathered from the above stage to create malicious payloads such as RAT. It is also called as RAT, that is remote access trojans. As we have seen that the input of first step we are gathering the information. So whatever output is there, that will be the input of the second stage. So here in reconnaissance, whatever information we have gathered, that will work as the input. It also explains how to deliver it to the target. The attacker leverages the usage of open source offensive framework tools such as the Metasploit, MSFV, ENOM, Whale, and to write reverse shells. Then it is injected into the legitimate software or binaries and is finally obfuscated in order to prevent from detection. Now this is what we are having in second step, that is weaponization. Up to this we are keeping in this lecture. Next step we are discussing in next lecture. Thank you.